car therapy may not fully live up to its name, there is still no denying everyone's potential involved when it comes to this production. With a limited income and a limited ability to work due to the way her tuition is set up, Nikki ends up working for Uber and figures, based off of her conversations with her friend Brianne, she can maybe give some therapy to writers, and that could allow her to practice while she's earning some cash. So, just for a quick breakdown of the characters and cast members that we're going to mention, there is Nikki, who is our lead, who is a therapist in training, working on her PhD, and has been pretty much doing some type of counseling, though unlicensed, of course, for most of her life, since she's one of those people who are easy to talk to. In fact, Brianna, her best friend, they met when Brianna was drunk, going through some stuff, and Nikki being a good ear is what's the foundation of their friendship. Following talking about Brianna, there's Hoodie, who pretty much seems to be Brianna's special person. So when it comes to highlights, it's pretty much just Nikki when she's being a therapist. For an episode 4, seeing her interact with Chrissy, helping Chrissy deal with what's her next move going to be in life, especially considering how Chrissy's relationship is going, the possibility of having a child. Seeing how Nikki walks through that helps you really understand what kind of therapist she would be like, and also seeing that she's actually good at this. As well, to note in the on defense portion, a lot of the time it seems less about talk therapy and more so about analyzing people in comedic ways. But at least when it comes to episode 4, we get the sense that this is what it means to be a therapist. This is what kind of training and knowledge that Nikki has, and why, even though she's been doing this most of her life unlicensed and kind of just been letting people vent to her, she could actually transition that from listening to friends as they deal with their problems and maybe giving advice to doing it as a licensed professional who has the education to back up what she's saying and also guide people toward a more productive life. And I would even say in episode 2, when she's dealing with a lesbian couple that are having relationship issues, she also brings this sense of who she is as a potential licensed therapist there, but it's a little bit different. With that one, I think we get the comedy portion that the show tries to bring, with Nikki being a soon-to-be licensed therapist and also someone who's really good at analyzing people. And I would even say that it even taps into, maybe for the black community specifically, who do we go to before therapy became like a normalized thing? And as the woman said, she went to her barber back in the day because he's an old head, he has all this knowledge, or at least he has enough where it clicks with her. And it kind of shows you like the transition, you know what I mean? The transition from going to barbers and people who just lived life to people who have book knowledge and hopefully, like Nikki, also have the type of empathy and listening skills in order to help people be productive in their lives. I truly cannot tell you how many times I refilmed this on the fence portion, and it's mainly because I'm split between two thoughts. On one hand, there's the fact that Janelle Williams, who is the creator, writer, director, and a slew of other titles, she made something that's indie, which was funded either by people like me who donated money to it, but also, could be a case of where she put her own money into it, as Tony Baker and everybody else. And you have to recognize that when it comes to indie productions, it's mostly done out of love, and also the sacrifice that comes time-wise, not just money-wise. And even in terms of the creative process, who knows what these original scripts look like before she possibly had to edit them down because she didn't have the money to film everything, the actors didn't have the time, or she couldn't get the actors she wanted, and all the other factors that as viewers we really don't think about because we're just looking at what the final product is. Yet when you speak about the final product, I'm someone who got introduced to car therapy through New Fest in episode 2. So episode 2 with the lesbian couples, that was the pitch to me. And when you look at episode 1, episode 3, episode 5, episode 6, which is mostly a conclusion, you don't get the same vibe or tone. You also don't get the same type of writing, in my opinion. With episode 1, 3, and 5, and 6 to a point, you get a comedy that's more so focused on the drive, the rideshare experience, and as much as you can add in that Nikki does analyze these characters and brings her education, everything to the situation to keep up with the car therapy idea, I don't feel like the execution was something that stood up to what we get in episode 2 and especially episode 4 when she's really like going back and forth with somebody and giving car therapy. Is car therapy everything we wanted and more? Never mind what we expected after seeing episode 2 at Newfest? No. However, I will not deny that when car therapy's at its heights in episode 2 and 4, I got what I expected, I got what I needed. And yes, episodes 1, episode 3, episode 5, and even episode 6 to a point definitely were not something I subjectively would like. You have to recognize all that goes into making a production, from creating a script and editing a script when you realize certain things won't fit into your budget or other people's time, buying all this equipment, getting the right actors for the roles. Then there's the actual filming part, which can be hectic considering that they're using streets that are actively used. And hell, even when it comes to just editing, there are multiple angles used throughout the episode, and this is a single camera thing for the review right now. And right now I'm at 26 minutes, and I can tell you right now it's probably going to take me at least half or twice that long, considering how much I have to cut just to get this out. So imagine what has to be done when it comes to car therapy putting out 6 episodes that are coherent. Never mind, I should add, whatever research that had to be done by Janelle Williams to understand some DSM-5 like analyst stuff. So, taking all that into consideration, that's why I was saying you should watch this, and not just because it's an indie production, but because it really shows potential. And in order to become more than just, what's the best way to put it? In order to potential to rise and grow into something that's fully realized, it needs investment. It needs investment either in eyes and people commenting and liking, of course, or better yet, investment in terms of money. And also opportunity to grow either this show, like we saw with Awkward Black Girl into Insecure, or just grow in terms of Janelle Williams getting the opportunity to use the same actors but for maybe different projects, something that's on a larger scale. Either way, you can find this whole series of car therapy on Tony Baker's channel, which will be linked below, and you should definitely check it out. It's not that long of a commitment. I think most episodes are less than 10 minutes, maybe not even more than like 7 or 6, so you can easily pop through it within an hour.